Welcome to Tales of the Lesser Medium, a podcast that pokes fun at video game narratives. I'm your narrator, Caleb J. Ross, and I'm joined by my co-host...
One thing, I don't know why, it doesn't even matter how hard you try. Keep that in mind. I designed this rhyme to remind myself of a time when I tried so hard, in spite of the way you were mocking me. I'm Steve.
Wow, yeah, that was my co-host, Travis Terry, doing his best. I want to say... Linkin Park?
It was Linkin Park. It was Linkin Park. Yeah.
As always, we'll be taking you through our favorite video game franchise narratives, interjecting with all sorts of hilarity along the way to make you laugh and to make us keep asking who the fuck Veronica is. We didn't learn it in part 1. Will we learn in part 2? We better, damn it.
We better.
This episode continues our multi-part series on Resident Evil Code Veronica X. This is episode 2. So if you want lots more of this, you're in luck, because you're listening to episode 2, and this is only the beginning of it.
If you're starting here, you're making a mistake.
if you're being forced to listen to this to satisfy some weird-ass homework assignment, then sorry, there's probably going to be another one after this. I don't know. We'll see how it goes. Also, what are you majoring in? I hope it's not helicopter pilotry. It's not, is it? Because you're not going to learn much about that in Tales of the Lesser Medium.
Or plot resolution class. That's probably another one.
It's a weird major, but
it is.
Don't tell your parents about that one, all right? Just keep telling them you're doing finance or economics or something. In episode 1, we met Claire and Steve. Now, Claire is a fully capable badass in search of her brother, Chris. Both Claire and Chris are Resident Evil fan favorite characters with interesting personalities and charisma out their asses. And Steve is not any of those things. He's a whiny turd of a pre-adult with daddy issues and a boner, neither of which he knows how to deal with. We also met the twins, Alfred and Alexia, who, well, are technically just Alfred. At least that's what the game is telling us. Alfred likes to dress up as his twin sister, I think just to fuck with people. Anyway, we ended episode 1 with an explosion and a narrow escape. The explosion is Tyrant's fault, a monster without a wiener. The escape is a working airplane's fault. So, I don't know, blame good craftsmanship on that, dear listener, for you having to suffer through another episode of Tales of the Lesser Medium.
Yeah,
I had to say it again in case you've already fallen asleep. but you shouldn't have. This is going to be a good one. This is going to be a good one.
It's going to be good. It's going to be a real good one. Yep.
So back at the base, Steve and Claire just flew away from. Alfred is frantically running around in his Navy general uniform and lipstick.
Yeah, it's like Buffalo Bill expecting a package. Just giddy and weird.
Oh, and as a reminder, Alfred and Alexia, they're the same person, like I said. So at this moment, Alfred is dressed as Alexia. Then Alfred heads toward the military training facility and begins operating a tank.
As you do.
Now, a tank is a terrible choice of vehicle to chase a jet with. And just when you think Alfred could be that stupid, you realize, no, he's not actually going to drive the tank. No, see, it turns out it's an antique collectible. All right? And instead, he just moves that tank out of the way and reveals yet another elaborate entrance to a secret underground passage that leads him to, his own fighter jet. Haha. That's better for following a jet. So Alfred takes to the air.
I'm jealous of how many secret passages he has. I need more secret passages in my house. I'm saving up for it next summer. I need one. I gotta have room for more video games, right? Of course. Vinyls. Maybe I've always wanted a secret place just for the cat's litter box. That's not a public area. It's got a secret passage of its own. That'd be great. And another one for my Harrier fighting jet.
That's all really stupid, Travis. I don't think you even collect vinyls.
Well, I might start if I get room.
That's true. I guess if you got the passage for it.
If I got the passage.
All right. Okay. What will be your first vinyl? What will be your first your golden goose, as they say?
Weird Al's UHF.
Oh, that's a good one, I guess.
Yeah.
Probably. I don't know.
I think so.
Back to Steve and Claire. They experience a sudden jolt from the rear of the cargo plane. Steve reckons the cargo bay doors come open and Claire goes to inspect. And in the rear of that cargo plane, none other than two-time Grammy winner and legendary country music Hall of Famer, Mr. Conway Twitty.
Hello, darling.
Just kidding. It's the tyrant. It's a tyrant from earlier, and he's more pissed and extra spiky, and still has no dick.
Ah, dang.
Yeah, well, so he's definitely not Conway Twitty, who is famous for his 9-inch Twitty Dangler is what I call it.
Well, that's what he called it. Yeah. That's what you both called it.
Hello, darling.
It's a wonder. You were the only two that called that, which was weird. You talked to him before he died?
It was weird. And then we high-fived several times for it, and he told me never to mention that again. But I think he's dead now, right? So it's cool if I talk about it. That's like 2 celebrity deaths already in this episode.
We did it.
Unless you edit them out. I should have just said 9 celebrity deaths, and then they would have only heard 2, and they'd be like, what were the other ones?
I definitely edited one out, but it'll be a mystery for forever. Because I'm leaving this in.
Nobody cares about Conway Twitty.
Nah.
Claire fires a few bullets into his face and tries to release, not Conway Twitty, the tyrant's face, and tries to release cargo from their holds to knock him out of the bay door, but he gets out of the way in time to dodge. Well, the first one. The second one, however, hits him dead on and staggers him backward and out of the plane down toward the misty mountains below.
Woof. And presumably still alive and prepared to wreak havoc on an entire unsuspecting village of proud pygmies. But that's for another Resident Evil game to explore. Resident Evil 9. Get this, I came up with this. The Blood on Pygmy Mountain. Huh? Be pretty good. For now, though, we carry on.
Wait, so is the mountain full of pygmies, or is the mountain itself a pygmy? Because that sounds more like a molehill to me. I think you're making a mountain out of a molehill in this instance.
You're making a pygmy mountain out of merely a bunch of just a group of pygmies.
I like to imagine that the pygmies welcome the tyrant, and the tyrant, feeling acceptance for the first time in his life, adapts to the society and, I don't know, starts a local bakery.
Yeah.
But there's an explosion upon impact, unfortunately, leading us to believe that this tyrant is probably very dead and will never create a bakery. But you never know. What with Resident Evils 4 and beyond still awaiting our telling of tales?
Yeah, 2026, we're doing another one probably. Watch out!
Claire returns to the cockpit, and Steve asks what the commotion was all about. She says it was nothing, just a little cockroach she needed to step on. This seems badass, but it might be nice to let the pilot know that we just released a couple 100 pounds of extra weight, in case that matters.
Yeah.
To the pilot. I don't know if it does. I've never flown a plane. It then becomes apparent that Steve hasn't taken a pilot class either, as a chime starts beeping in the cockpit and Steve realizes the plane has turned around and has started flying on its own. That's something that they probably would have gone over in pilotry school.
I mean, has it? Or is Steve just a giant moron? This is exactly how I react. Like when a video game I'm playing wrongs me, and I'm like, it's not doing what I tell it. It's doing it on its own. I pushed A. It made me go left. That's fucking Steve.
Steve should just use the move that every parent in the 1980s used when trying to make Mario jump. Just move the entire controller in an arc to the right to mimic the jump, it won't work, but at least then Steve could legitimately say, I've tried everything.
Yeah, you did, Steve.
It has started flying on its own, and he is a moron. So, this is quite the Venn diagram we're looking at here. But Steve can't get the plane out of autopilot mode and back to manual. Then suddenly, on the cockpit's monitor appears Alfred, still dressed as and presenting as Alexia. Alfred tells them he has chosen a new destination for their flight.
Yeah, dude. Claire crosses her fingers, wanting Cancun bad. Steve, hoping for somewhere rainy and sad like Vancouver or Seattle.
Then Claire, apparently willing to be canceled over this, calls Alfred a cross-dressing freak. His video feed scrambles out.
Oh, Claire! Get with the times. He's not a cross-dressing freak. He's just an asshole with an expansive wardrobe.
Yeah. Alfred wearing a wig and makeup isn't the worst thing he's done.
Yeah.
So, I mean, he's not cross-dressing freak. He's like a freak for some other reason.
That's right. I mean, think of it. I mean, he more really dresses when he's, not Claire, as he's in the Nutcracker play. And we've already seen him be cruel to insects, and he's trying to murder us. These are actual crimes.
Mm-hmm. The next scene is awkward. Oh, finally, an awkward scene. Some soft saxophone music kicks in, and with the plane on autopilot, Steve and Claire curl up on the floor to pass time. She falls asleep resting sweetly against his shoulder, and it is annoying to watch since Steve is such a pathetic piece of shit, but whatever. Steve even gets brave enough to lean in for a kiss.
Ugh.
As Claire is sleeping. But Claire, I guess, becomes awake and turns away just in time.
Oh, God, that was close, man. We almost had to cancel both of them.
Steve, after mentally jotting down a few sad boy emo song lyrics to describe this rejection, stands to look out and realizes the plane is flying over the Antarctic.
Whoa.
But then the plane suddenly tilts downward for some reason, plummets, and crash lands at a hidden snowy airbase somewhere in the icy tundra. The nose of the plane pierces the outer wall of the concrete base, and so they hop out injury-free somehow. They exit with hardly any acknowledgement that they just survived a harrowing crash landing. What caused the crash? Certainly not a tentacle monster, right? I mean, there's no way there's any of those lying around.
Yeah. You would think not in Antarctica. There's nothing there. It's just bears and little birds that look like they're wearing tuxedos. But you know what? I bet when they landed, Claire clapped.
Oh,
right? Ugh.
Yeah.
She seems like the type to clap when the plane lands. And honestly, she's becoming worse than Steve for me at this point.
An airplane landing clap is the only addendum to the social contract that otherwise says that we all must join a clap when one starts. Like, even after a terrible music performance, if one person starts clapping, we all give in.
Yeah.
It's just the contract that we agree with. But on a plane landing, hell no. If the person sitting next to me could be the clap starter, and I wouldn't hesitate to spit in their face, even if for the entire journey prior we had established a connection and even traded LinkedIn accounts.
Even accounts. The most annoying notification of all the accounts is the LinkedIn notification.
Yeah. You don't give those out just willy-nilly because you don't want those notifications. So and this person, we had a connection, then they clapped, spit in their face.
Right in the face.
Steve jumps out first, landing on a steel balcony that snakes along the interior of the building they just crashed into. Claire jumps down next and lands on Steve, knocking him on his back. Hilarious. Now she's on top of him, staring down at him.
Ooh.
They once again share a very awkward yet fleeting moment. Claire then pops up to her feet and offers Steve her hand to help him up. He ignores her and gets up on his own, apparently feeling bluffed by first the missed kiss and now her rush to get off of him.
Ugh. Whatever. You murder my boner, I murder my dad. Life is so cruel.
Upon inspection, it looks like Umbrella owns the base as well. Steve decides it would be best if they split up to look around, and Claire, reeling from all the far-flung sexual tension, agrees that this would be a good idea.
And Steve, he needs to walk that boner off. We've been there. And think it's nearly impossible to tuck one of those up into super tight emo denims like he's wearing. At that point, you might as well staple it to your own asshole. That would be equally as comfortable.
Trav, I'm a little worried for you. You know, I've had plenty of untamable boners in my day, but I've never thought of stapling them to my asshole, man. Are you okay?
I'm hanging in there.
Well, that's good. That's good. That means you haven't stapled it to your asshole at this point.
Yeah.
Despite the entire area being frozen over, this is Antarctica after all, the monsters are still active here. As Claire descends into the underground part of the base, she sees odd pod-like growths on the walls. Plant life? Strange. I mean, that's like the one thing Antarctica can't do, right?
That's what I thought.
I don't know. The downstairs is full of zombies, lurching hungrily with their arms out. A large insect has stolen one of the bodies for food for its nest above. The hallways here are narrow and everywhere is dark. Large spiders the size of riding lawnmowers skitter and launch venom at Claire.
Whoa.
She narrowly dodges them. In another room, she finds a diary one of the miners from the base left behind not that long ago. It talks of Alfred and his power-hungry tyranny over them as a supervisor. It also details a creature that apparently haunts this base. The miners referred to it as Nosferatu, as at night you can hear him roar.
Yeah, and it's okay. I did the research on the reference because I personally am not too familiar with Nosferatu, and I imagine dozens, if not dozens plus one or two others haven't as well. It's the name of a German horror film from 1922 where a hungry vampire tries to get some neck. You know how they are. It's a silent movie, so I'm not sure how the moaning here reminds the miners of Nosferatu, but I know this. The main character of the film is played by an actor named Max Schreck, and I've seen the Shrek movies, and they're great, so...
Prove yourself. Give me a few Shrek moans, Trav.
Shrek moans?
Yeah. If Shrek had to moan.
Okay. Donkey. Donkey.
All right, I'll allow it.
Yeah.
Claire's first few tasks involve trying to kick some power into the facility so she can operate some of the powered doors and continue to explore and probably let out all those monsters that have been heretofore contained safely.
Yeah, and maybe get the heat going. It's Antarctica. We're not wearing a coat. We didn't know we were going here. We're not prepared for it. Jesus Christ. This part kills me, man. The whole time, the whole rest of the game, there's zombies, there's tentacles, there's all kinds of I was like, there's no way they're just walking around without coats. It broke it for me.
The occasion. What if just Steve brought a coat and he's like, like how is he going to convince? How is he going to convince Claire that he didn't know this was happening? You know.
Why do you have an extra tub of coats, Steve?
You literally only wear dog necklaces and chains on your wallets, and all of a sudden you're toting around a bunch of coats.
And you keep wearing the coats, and you still try to let the Paramore T-shirt be visible through the coat. Just zip them all up.
So the occasional zombie dog, zombie bat, zombie human, and mutant spider, possibly also zombie, attempt to stop her, but they're no match for her semi-automatic machine gun.
I like to think, what if the spider wasn't a zombie? And he's like, oh, gross, there's so many fucking zombies.
That was his mutation, is that he could speak English like very fluently.
He's like, oh, this is a bummer for me still.
Yeah. Man, I hope there's like other English speaking entities that like hang around and also hate zombies. Oh my God, no way.
He's just trying to give Chris and Claire a hug. He's not trying to hurt them. He's like, it's you guys.
Oh my God, high five, or like high 40, I guess.
Yeah, I got a few.
Because of all my legs. Okay, eventually she makes her way out of the cold. Although the arms probably don't have fingers, that'd be creepy, right? It's probably like high 8, high 8 total. Okay.
Yeah, I choose to believe that. I don't want to imagine. Ugh.
I just don't want to see the spider's little weird little leg hands like grip each tendril of the web individually and climb it. All right, let's move on. Eventually, she makes her way out of the cold steel walls of the base proper and locates some cozier-looking administrative offices. In fact, she locates Alfred's office.
Yeah, and you can tell it's his office because there's just a pile of dead insects, one hot blonde wig, and a heap of sticky tissues.
Ew. Yeah. Inside the office is a litany of reading materials, most of which are important to the story. One is a report written by Alexander Ashford, the father of Alfred and Alexia, and architect of this very base. It reads...
My father Edward discovered the mother virus in cooperation with Lord Spencer, who was also a nobleman. They studied it for the went a little Australian there, out of the blue. I'll stick to somewhere mid-Atlantic and like what I imagine London to sound like after they watch a few seasons of an American TV show. They studied it for the purpose of military use. Eventually, their study took shape. They named a variation of the mother virus the T virus. Who knows what is this? What is this?
Now you're going into like good but also bad Trump impression. They named it a variation of the mother virus, you know. I don't know now. I can't do it. I don't know why I'm trying.
to camouflage their research. All right,
give me a 1920s radio transatlantic accent.
To camouflage their research, they established Umbrella Chemical Incorporated. I majored in biogenetics and have been involved with a top-secret project supporting my father's research. However, my research went through a difficult phase, and my father died in the middle of the project. We are now at a major disadvantage against other researchers, as there is great competition in the field of T-virus research. I have disgraced the honorable name of the Ashford family that our great ancestor Veronica established. Veronica, Annika, established. If nothing is done, Umbrella will be taken over by Spencer. I must expedite the project to its fullest, without being detected by Spencer. After much thought, I decided to establish a large-scale advanced research facility. It will be located in the transport terminal that I created by using the abandoned mine in the Antarctic. Within the facility, I have a room built. It will be similar to the design of my mansion, the legacy of the late Trevor. I will be able to cherish my sweet memories there. For security purposes, this confidential project will be given a code name. It is the name of the beautiful ancestor of the Ashford family, Veronica, Annika, whom I wish to revive so badly.
Wow, well, there it is. That's Veronica. We did it. We
did it.
Said the thing.
We said it.
So it turns out it is someone in the story that we'll never meet. That's neat.
You can't win them all.
I I kind of wonder how Alexander's conversations with his college roommates would go when he's studying biogenetics. So, like, his roommate, they're meeting for the first day. His roommate's like, "So, why are you studying biogenetics?" And then Alexander comes back. "Well, I've always loved science, Baking soda volcanoes is really cool. Plus, my father discovered a virus that I want to harness to wreak havoc on the world, Also, the science department poon at this university is out of this world, my man. High five."
My man.
I imagine it's in the 70s.
I just love how Alexander was cool for a second. That was fun.
I imagine it actually was well before the 70s, based on your various accents. But
he was very high in the first part. He sobered up when he felt like he got called out.
I'm a little disappointed that the note you read didn't involve horse racing, because I think that would have been perfect for your transatlantic accent. But
yes.
Oh well, maybe next time. I hope there's another letter that you could maybe ad-lib some horse racing in. The second piece of literature is a letter from Alfred's butler to him. It reads,
and since it's a butler, it's got to be way British.
Oh, sir, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Sir Alfred, please forgive me. I must tell you of my abrupt departure by leaving this letter. I first served your father, Lord Alexander, and have for so long shared in the joys and sorrows of the Ashford family. Lord Alexander disappeared unexpectedly 15 years ago. Then an accident during an experiment took the life of our dear Alexia. You were forced to become the master of the family at a very young age, and nearly lost your sanity from the sorrow of having lost all your family members at once. There was nothing I could do, and I felt powerless. I first thought I should kill myself to apologize. I then realized that it would be an insult to our dear Lord Alexander. I stutter over the names too. I could not keep the twins. And there's Alexander and there's Alexia. I usually just get drunk and go bet on the ponies. Lord Alexander and Alexia. It would be an insult to them in the other world. Scott Harmon, butler, Ashford family. I don't know. It's weird. I got Scott I sound like I'm from Michigan.
Harmon.
But I'm a butler. Scott Harmon. I'm from Boston.
I love how quickly this guy decides against suicide. Like, he's like, I thought at first I should kill myself, but then I thought, that just like wouldn't be right to someone else. So I think maybe I won't, but I want to. I like really, really want to. But I'm not gonna. You know?
It's like, at first I thought suicide, and I was like, this will finally be my chance. But then I was like, nah, I'll save it. I'll kill myself over something else later.
Now, listeners, we implore you. Okay, we got to get serious for a second here. We implore you to never issue an apology by way of killing yourself. Okay.
Yes. Sorry, I didn't mean to laugh.
Because then you'd have to apologize to the housekeeper for all the blood, and to the drywall guys for all for the bullet hole in the wall. It's a whole thing.
A whole thing.
And so, for the sake of the hourly wage workers in your life, don't kill yourself, man. Come on.
For them, especially. Somebody's got to clean you up.
Yeah, it's gross. It's gross. Anyway, those readings provide some narrative-rich details, and I'll recap as concisely as I can. So it turns out Alfred and Alexia's grandfather, Edward, along with Lord Oswald Spencer, who built the mansion of the first Resident Evil, discovered the T-virus. Then Alexander, following his father Edward's footsteps, learned biogenetics and continued the research. There was a split between Edward Ashford and Oswald Spencer, so they continued the research separately.
Ooh.
Edward then died unexpectedly, leaving Alexander and the Ashcrofts at a disadvantage in the research race, so Alexander decided to try and expedite research without Spencer finding out. He created the base here in Antarctica and built a replica mansion so he'd feel at home. Then, per the butler's note, we learned that Alexia died from an accident during an experiment, and we learned that Alexander mysteriously disappeared 15 years ago. So now, Alfred has been left in charge of everything his father and grandfather built, while also being affected by his sister's death. It might do a little to explain his, let's say lack of sanity. Oh yeah, and most importantly, the codename of Veronica is named after one of their Ashford ancestors. You get all that, Trav?
Yeah. I think Shrek 2 is my favorite.
Back to Claire. Yeah, you get it. Back to Claire. Yeah. She activates a generator and gets the lights back on in this place. In Alfred's office, she finds a hidden switch that reveals a door.
At what point are there so many hidden doors that there are actually no hidden doors?
On the other side is a mesh gate, and far below that is a room with a man blindfolded, gagged, and shackled to a wall.
Yeah, it's Alfred's own personal prisoner.
Someone to something. Yeah, I know the one.
Yeah.
There's an axe stuck in the wall, and the handle across the prisoner's chest pins him to this dark corner of misery. His loud, unsettling screams echo and carry throughout the facility, not knowing how to get to him or what to do if she could. Now, thinking back, she realizes this must be Nosferatu, the miner the guy wrote about. Claire leaves Alfred's office. Perhaps she'll find a way to let Nosferatu out soon. I don't know.
I say forget Nosferatu. He seems grumpy and unreasonable.
I'm with you, Travis. Now, hear me out, video game heroes. Maybe leave the chained up dude, chained up. I know you're a hero, okay? But at some point, you have to realize that maybe the prisoner is locked up for a reason. Now, I know the villain does villainy things. That's what they do. But maybe the chained up person is unrelated to the standard villainy of the villain. I mean, sure, the villain murders indiscriminately and wants to unleash a virus on the world, but maybe this chained up guy was found guilty by a jury of his peers. You don't know.
I don't.
You don't. So just ignore him and move on.
Okay.
Claire meets back up with Steve, this time in the machine room that controls a massive mining drill. He tells her, I like to imagine that's like a euphemism. He's like, hey Claire, come check out my massive mining drill.
Oh, yeah.
He tells her that there is an Australian outpost just 7 miles away. He reckons if they can use the drill to break out of the base, they can reach the outpost. In reality, they could go back to the plane they fell out of and exit through another door of the plane and just be outside and on their way. But never mind the logic right now. It's time for drills.
Drills!
To Steve and Claire, the only way out is through some Antarctic mines. Worth noting that Claire refuses to say the word drill and refers to it instead as a digging vehicle.
It's not a backhoe, Claire. It's literally a drill that you drive. That would be like calling a spoon this is my scooping Watson. Just call it by its name.
And it's time for another wonderful episode of Guess That Utensil.
Okay.
And imagine crowds cheering and stuff, okay? Where I rename a common utensil and Trav tries to guess what I've renamed. Are you ready, Trav?
Yep.
All right. What is a thumbless poking stick?
Thumbless poking stick. I gotta go with penis.
It's so close. I think it's fork, but I forgot to write down the answers for this.
So I could be right.
You could be right. Okay, it might be penis. All right. What is a pancake flipper, also known as a hamburger spinner?
Okay, a pancake flipper, so it flips pancakes. And it's a hamburger spinner, so it spins hamburgers. I gotta go with penis.
This penis is getting ravaged. All right. Well, I think it was spatula, but it might be penis. Okay.
All right.
Last question for all the monies.
Okay.
What is a hot dog turner / dead rodent picker upper?
Oh. Gosh. Penis?
Yeah, I gotta say penis. Okay, fine. I think it was tongs.
Ow!
But we'll go with... Well, you know what? Yeah, I like your style. You get all the money.
Yes.
All right, so Steve operates a crane to move this digging vehicle to where they can reach it, but is distracted by Claire's timeless beauty. So many polygons. He stops paying attention and fails to stop the crane before setting the drill, smashing into some pipes that explode and release toxic gas, which I will claim is a visual metaphor for sexual climax. because Claire is understandably irate because of this, if not also a little flattered, I guess. Still, she grabs Steve's arm and yanks him out of the room and to safety from the fumes.
You ever been so smitten by a babe you just do something dumb? I've walked into lampposts and street signs. I've tripped over sidewalks. I've never accidentally released thousands of cubic feet of toxic gas into an enclosed space, though.
I don't think you've ever truly been smitten, then.
It's fair. Or been around
toxic gas and pipes and shit.
Pipes,
Outside, Steve is once again pathetically emo.
It's all my fault.
Don't say that. Listen to me. We'll escape from here. Together. Come on. We've got to shut off the gas. If we split up, we'll have a better chance of stopping it.
Okay.
Steve! Don't forget. We'll get out of here. Together.
Well, let's hope not. If Steve doesn't die by the end of this, I'm never playing another Capcom game again. I mean it.
Steve gallops away to find some means of fixing his giant mistake. I suggest a wet towel. Meanwhile, Claire finds a gas mask and a valve handle and takes care of the situation for him by shutting off the gas flow. What was Steve off doing? I don't know, who knows, but it wasn't helpful.
Yeah, he was flipping his spiked neck choker around inside out so he could punish himself for his no-no. And he's like, bad boy, first you kill daddy, then you almost kill lady. What would Slipknot say about this?
Slipknot would say, it's okay, it's all just part of growing up, kid.
Dude, that was perfect.
That's my guess.
You sounded like it's like 9 dudes.
All of them together.
You sounded so good.
Yeah. Just as Claire turns off the gas and removes her gas mask in relief, she utters the damning words, "We're safe now," to which a female voice from across the room responds,
"Think again, Claire."
"It's Alfred," pretending to be Alexia, of course. Then, as shitty villains do, he has his gun trained on her, but has to get out some last words.
"I shall enjoy watching you shriek in agony."
But then our knight in Hot Topic armor returns. Steve yells, "Not this time!" and some gunfire is exchanged. Despite being only feet away, everyone misses each other at first. Okay, but Steve, after an agile tuck and roll maneuver, manages to fire a shot that connects with Alfred's chest, causing him to fall over the railing of the machine room and down to the hard concrete floor below. Is the sound I imagine that made. He lets out a series of fun grunt sounds. There was probably a few under there, I think. So, and then he stands up right as the edge of the concrete ledge chips off, sending Alfred and his Alexia persona hurling backward into a glowing abyss. Interestingly, as Alfred screams mid-fall into the pit, a loud roar emits from the depths of where he fell. What was that?
Yeah. Was it the acoustics? Did he land on the back of a dragon? Did he become a dragon? Did he land on Nosferatu? Was Nosferatu on a dragon when he landed? There's a lot of... It was a weird sound.
Claire would like to know the answers to these questions, too. She grabs the sniper rifle that Alfred dropped when Steve shot him and hops on the mining drill.
Digging vehicle.
Digging vehicle. Steve kicks it into first gear, and they drive through the wall with not a single shred of PPE. No goggles, no helmet, not even a radio for, like, if they become trapped.
This is the real nightmare. Unregulated mining activity.
In no time, the drill's heat melts the surrounding ice, which then floods the base.
It's like they're actively trying to commit suicide.
Cut to the man, or I guess man, blindfolded in Alfred's basement. Nosferatu. A better look at him shows he's not only blindfolded, but the blindfold is drenched in blood.
Ew.
Which means the blindfold isn't necessary, since it's likely his eyes have been gouged out. On the other hand, maybe the blindfold is a bandage for bleeding eye sockets post-eyeball removal.
Yeah.
On yet another hand, perhaps Alfred put the blindfold there because after removing the eyes of his captor, he decided he didn't like seeing the gaping abysses where his eyes once were and covered that shit right up. Or maybe the eyeballs themselves are on another hand, like the finger eyes in Beetlejuice.
Wow. Lots of theories to explore.
Yeah. Either way, Nosferatu is quite unhappy about the whole situation. He flexes his body, splitting his chest open and exposing his oversized heart. He then stands newly strengthened and pulls himself away from his tethers. He shirks the axe handle across his chest and sends it flying with such force it plants blade first into the metal floor nearby. He staggers forth, roaring and growing in strength. It appears Claire and Steve have awakened pure evil, and it has left its hold to hunt for them. So, I was right. Leave the chained up guy chained up.
Yeah. And fortunately, think about it, it has no eyesight. and a giant exposed heart, so should be easy to dodge, and you know where to shoot it. To me, a scarier monster has lots of eyes and no exposed weaknesses to shoot.
Now, come on, Trav, you played a video game. The eyes are the exposed weakness, okay? This means pre-monstered, wrapped, eyeballed Nosferatu is the alpha enemy, and he actually mutated into a weaker, dumber enemy. You dumb video game. That's stupid. Why did you do that? On the other side of the wall, Steve and Claire exit the drill-like digging vehicle. They find themselves outside in the Antarctic snow. Neither are wearing enough clothes for this environment, but also neither indicates that it's cold.
Literally, the first thing I do is comment about the temperature. There's no way I'm not stepping out, and especially when it's obvious. Like, that's the gateway to all small talk, is acknowledging the obvious. There's no way I'm not stepping out in that Antarctic environment and not being like, ooh, it's a little chilly out here. Easily the first thing I say.
Yeah, and then you clap when you see an airplane land. You know you exposed who you really are, Trav.
It's amazing every time, though.
They climb a few flights of steel steps toward a helipad. Generally, a helipad can only foster an escape if there's a helicopter. This podcast, however, has made us helicopter experts, and given the lack of humanity left at the base and the obvious violent weather, there will be no helicopter here. Nope, not this day. Once on the top, Claire peers out across the snowy tundra, sees nothing of note, and decides to head back down.
Yeah.
Shoo, well, it's a little chilly. I'm going to head back down.
That's what I would have said.
Steve whines and tells her to stick around. Maybe a helicopter will, just appear or something. We're not sure what Steve's plans are, but if he had any, they would have to change now because Nosferatu is ambling up the steps toward them through the icy fog.
Hey, Nosferatu, where's your coat? It's pretty chilly up here, ain't it? Will anybody acknowledge how cold it is?
As he shuffles up the steps, a large tentacle juts out of his body. The tentacle thrashes around, knocking Steve over the edge of the helipad. Steve grabs the ledge and hangs for dear, sad boy emo life. His bare hand on the freezing cold steel beam that saves his fall.
Geez Louise. Wow, is this some kind of cold beam? I might bit chilly out here, eh, Claire?
Nobody? Not even Steve?
Nope. Steve tells Claire to forget about him and run. Claire considers for a moment and then realizes that leaving Steve behind would actually be nice, but Nosferatu doesn't give her a choice and blocks her from the stairwell escape, like he's some kind of relationship therapist in monster clothing. You must hug it out, is what he would say in this situation. She squares off with the monster, who uses the icy fog to his advantage. Nosferatu emits a poison and swings his long tentacle-like protrusion and attempts to knock Claire to her death, but she's able to focus her aim long enough to catch a glimpse of his exposed and beating heart. She locks aim, pulls the trigger, knocking Nosferatu backward off the helipad and into the snowy abyss.
Man, lots of abysses in this act.
Mm-hmm. Claire runs over to Steve and pulls him up, and together they lay on the helipad to catch their breath, still way too exposed in the elements to have lived this long in sub-zero temps.
It's all I can think about.
As they get up to leave, Steve, under his breath, says, I swear I'll protect you next time, Claire. You know, like a pathetic loser. You just have to put yourself in harm's way again, to give me a chance to try again. So if you could just do that real quick and allow me to redeem myself for the failing of protecting you I did the first time, that'd be cool if you could do that. She doesn't agree to that, by the way, listener. She does not. Once back on the ground, they spy a snowmobile. It's more akin to a semi-truck that can operate on snow than what you might first think of when you hear snowmobile.
Yeah, I personally imagined a snowmobile at first. Claire is just terrible at identifying vehicles.
Yeah, it's true. I think we should probably go back and forth a little bit. Let's talk about some of the things that Claire sucks at naming. So misnaming all these different types of vehicles. You go first. I'll put you on the spot.
All right. Let's say. Well, I got the trash is coming tomorrow. So we say trash truck. What would Claire say?
She would call it a rolling stink bucket.
That's pretty good.
All right.
I mean, that's very accurate.
Yeah, it is. How about this? We say motorcycle. So what will Claire call it?
Claire sees a motorcycle and she's like, "Oh, look at that Hummy Vroomer."
Because it's the sound it makes. I mean, that makes sense. That makes sense.
Uh-huh. It also sounds like a new neat name for a blowjob. You want me to give you a Hummy Vroomer right now? You want one? Also, no one's ever offering blowjobs with that amount of
I like it. I like
excitement.
that in this casual conversation. Someone's like, hey, I got an extra blowjob. You want one? I mean, it's just sitting here. No one's doing anything with it.
This is my van. If you want to go ahead and get in,
Yeah.
I'll suck shit out of your dick.
Hey, we got peanut butter sandwiches, or if you want, we got like those little things where you roll pepperoni around a string cheese. We got one of those. You got a whole mess of blowjobs if you want one of those. We've been I'll be honest, they're almost expired, so you might want to take them up now.
They're buy one get one if you want one.
And you don't have to buy them. They're take one get one. You know.
Take one, get one might be the name of this episode. Okay, so what else? Where are we at? I got one. Skateboard.
Okay.
So what would Claire call a skateboard?
Claire, I don't think would understand what a skateboard was. Her earlier reference is like big vehicles, so she'd be like, "That's like a tiny diving board trick maker." Like,
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
with wheels on it.
yeah, with
That's
wheels
not
on it. It's like a little truck. This one's obvious. Okay, we say helicopter. What would Claire call that?
Set to explode.
She's kind of on point with that one. That one makes sense. Yeah, she knows what universe she's in. So they hop in the snowmobile truck, we'll call it, and head toward the Australian base for help.
Yeah, and just real quick, I know what people are thinking. Australia? That's not in Antarctica. They don't even touch. And that's true. It's a separate continent. But that implies you don't know what the word base means. So to be clear, they're not driving a snow semi truck to Australia. They're just going to a place somewhere where Australians like to hang out, hunt snow kangaroo, and toss ice boomerangs back and forth. There's just to explain that.
Okay, quick point of confusion. I think boomerangs are the one things you don't toss back and forth.
I mean, yeah, it's kind of like tennis ball off a wall.
Yeah, it's just you toss it just forth. I guess I don't know. I don't know how it works.
I mean, I guess if you toss it at all, you're tossing it back and forth. Like that's solo man's game.
yeah, okay, sure. You know what? I'm not going to argue semantics with you. All right. I know you're anti-semantic, so I'm not going to drag you through that.
I'm just Appalachian. There's a difference.
Very similar. There's a lot of overlap there. Meanwhile, back inside the base they just escaped, Alfred shuffles along one of the corridors, visibly injured and bleeding. Now, using his own voice, he says to himself,
I won't forget about this, Claire.
"Ugh, go back to the Alexia voice, man. Ugh." Mortally wounded, he crawls out into his laboratory, and collapses. The camera zooms out, and we see Alfred is lying at the base of a small set of stairs that lead up to a capsule holding some sort of being. The capsule looks frozen, much like the cylinders in the past that have held research specimens at Umbrella Corp, like Titan, for example. This cylinder holds a woman. Alfred utters,
Alexia.
in a faint tone, which triggers all of the equipment in the room to boot up. The capsule thaws, the fluid drains from the cylinder, and a blonde, nude woman's eyes open.
Man, knowing my luck, my Alexa would have chimed in. And then she would have been like, hey, it's chilly outside. I'm like, God damn it! I said Alexia! He's like, I'm sorry, Alexa doesn't understand your request. I said Alexia! God damn it! And then I realized at that point, should have got Google Home.
You should bring a jacket. I fucking know! Okay? Alexa, I know! Alexia steps out and walks toward Alfred.
Alexia, you're finally awake.
And then once again, he collapses to the ground. This time, super dead. Alexia's eyes widen with anger. Meanwhile, back at the snowmobile mobile that Claire and Steve are cruising along in, something swoops in and smashes the roof of the vehicle, causing it to topple and catch fire. A tentacle whips out, curls around the snowmobile, and drags it down over to Steve and Claire, still trapped inside.
Lots of abysses.
I was gonna say it's like maybe abyssy. You count them on an abacus, abacus.
Wow. Nice.
Alexia stands nude and kneels down while humming to herself and softly strokes dead Alfred's hair. A monitor nearby shows the snowmobile Steve and Claire are trapped in is beginning to burn. So, warmth.
Nice. Finally.
Yeah. We then shift away from Claire and Steve, and our attention is now focused on a single boat floating just off land. A passenger exits and begins to climb the sheer rock face of the island. A lead from Leon Kennedy has brought me here, says the voice of a man. That's right. We're now following the elusive Chris Redfield. Whoa. He climbs the rock face, nearly losing a handhold and falling to his death, but manages to safely reach the top and enter a cave.
Man, if he had slipped off that rock face and immediately after him, people have been begging for him the whole time. They're like, man, I can't wait for Chris. And then he falls to his death after being on screen for 8 seconds, facing no enemies other than gravity. I'd still be laughing to this day. That would be Capcom's greatest moment. Everybody's like, yes, it's Chris. Oh, fuck. Fuck.
And then the whole time, dumbass Claire is still looking for him, and you as the player have lost all motivation to finish this game. You're like, it's
futile.
Gosh, it's futile. Damn it, Claire. All right, I just want to see how pervy Steve can get. So I'm gonna keep playing for that. All right, inside the cave is a familiar-looking wounded man who says he never expected to see another living soul out here. It's Rodrigo, and he's alive still. And grumpy, and there's a loud roar from below. The ground shakes, rocks fall around them. Something stirs beneath. The cave entrance is now blocked. There's no turning back. He's trapped here with Rodrigo.
Yeah, they're all trapped together. He's like, so, name's Chris. You come here often, or, because he just climbed the side of a mountain and walked in a cave and saw a man. It's like, what are we doing here? And just so that it's clear, since we're shifting locations a bit, Chris is back at the base that Claire and Steve and Alfred just left from in some jets.
I would err on the side of maybe like Rodrigo not having wanted to have been found. Like Rodrigo tried really hard to get away from people. You don't just happen upon you don't just land in a cave, right? Like,
right. Yeah.
He doesn't want Chris around.
I don't feel good, Chris, to be honest with you. If I can get you to step out.
Yeah. Rodrigo continues to suffer from his earlier injuries, but he did manage to get all the way here from his cell block at least. It's pretty impressive. Chris asks him if he's seen Claire, but Rodrigo insists that Chris is wasting his time. He's already helped her escape the island. She's gone, dude. She was on one of the planes that already left. Chris appreciates the intel and tells Rodrigo goodbye. But before he can stand up to leave, one of the giant doom worms from earlier pierces up out of the ground and swallows Rodrigo whole and then disappears back down from where it emerged.
Wow, that's because Rodrigo was really growing on me.
Yeah.
May he join Carlos in the afterlife as Resident Evil characters who left too soon.
Chris looks on in disbelief. Not because that happened, but because he's a little offended that the worm didn't choose him instead. Like, what, am I not tasty? You son of a bitch worm. But you know what? He's still alive, so he knows he must push forward through the cave if he has any chance of surviving to see Claire again. This cave is a little more than meets the eye. Aside from being haunted by man-eating worms that lurk just out of sight, there's also a secret hideout here with desks, trunks of supplies, and more. Chris finds a crossbow, a combat knife, a few pistols, and a grenade launcher, and tons of weed.
Ooh, I want a cave office.
Just outside the cave office opens to a larger area where the worm that just ate Rodrigo is busy doing victory laps and is, somehow still hungry. I don't know. Chris runs around the area, dodging the worm's attacks, waiting for it to expose itself out of the sandy ground, and then blasts it with all he's got right in its stupid cave worm mouth.
Yeah.
Chris defeats the worm, and it writhes a little before, holy crap, vomiting Rodrigo out.
Rodrigo, did you see Carlos? Did he say anything about me, or?
Chris runs over to Rodrigo, clearly as stunned as we are that he's still alive. Rodrigo says, "It'll be good to see my family again," and then hands Chris the lighter Claire had given him. Then he immediately dies. So either his family is already dead and he just saw a glimpse of them as he just peeked into the afterlife, or he had a lot of false hope that he was going to be fine and then just jinxed himself and died anyway.
Damn.
It's sad either way. Chris strokes Rodrigo's soft mustache delicately with his thumb, says a prayer, then checks Rodrigo's body for more ammo, weed, and smokes before moving on.
Man, God, whew. It's like, Chris is like, God damn it, Rodrigo. You're like a brother to me. I only knew you for about one combined minute of gameplay, but holy shit, the things we've been through. I'll never forget you. Say hello to Carlos for me. And then Chris leaves and never thinks about Rodrigo ever again.
Nope. Even when he's smoking that weed later, he's like, where did I get this? I found it somewhere.
This tastes like a dead guy's piss-stained pocket. Not ringing any bells, though. I
A
don't know
little
where this
bit
came
of worm in there, too, I think. Like worm bile. Where have I found worm bile before? Chris comes to an elevator cut right into the cave wall. The elevator leads him down to the military training facility's motor pool. Remember, this area was set to self-destruct not long ago when Claire was here, and it seems to have survived the blast decently well.
Yeah, pretty shitty self-destruct system if you ask me. But to be fair, how do you test that kind of thing?
Zombies are still lurking around. Some of the vehicles are messed up, but for the most part, the place doesn't seem to have suffered much. Chris makes it outside where Alfred's antique tank covers his secret escape path. Chris doesn't know about the secret path, but curiously, conveniently, or coincidentally, we're not really always sure here at Tales, he pushes the button on the rear, the tank moves forward, and it reveals Alfred's escape route.
Man, that tank's button's been getting a lot of action. I guess to be fair, though, you fought a dune worm already.
Mm-hmm.
You just had your newest and bestest friend killed in front of you.
Mm-hmm.
You know shit is bad. If I find a tank and there's an exposed button on it, I'm going to push it.
Next, Chris overcomes a few door puzzles and repairs a cargo lift before finding a key to a chemical storage area, and also a note. One of the ways Alfred sealed off his escape is by locking a door behind him with an incomplete version of the Ashford crest. This, turns out, was a wise move by Alfred, because it makes Chris's life a real pain in the ass going forward.
Oh.
The crest needs a golden halberd to be completed, and the only way to get one is to take it off another crest. But see, that would require somehow diluting the metal that holds it all together.
Ugh.
Now, do we really have time for Chris to learn metallurgy? Or is there another way to break open this door? Unfortunately, he has to learn metallurgy.
Dang it!
The note he finds describes the properties of a metal alloy that were used to form the crest and the chemicals required to dissolve it. In short, Chris needs to find 2 specific chemicals that break down the alloy in order to retrieve the golden halberd and open the door. The next long while of Chris's adventure are centered on solving this puzzle.
Yeah. Man, and this really opened my eyes to just how intellectually lazy I am. If I were Chris and I realized I was going to have to just learn metallurgy in a time before a YouTube DIY short to help me out, I'm probably just going to die.
On his search for the chemicals, Chris starts to hear distant singing. It's coming from near the control room. Chris runs in to see the main screen is showing a woman in an evening gown singing beautifully with a dead Alfred in her lap.
That's kind of Alfred.
Alfred is in his Navy uniform, but with his lipstick and eyeshadow still visible. Chris watches on, confused, to say the least.
Yeah, and if you can imagine it, he's way more confused than we are, because we were in the first episode. He wasn't. He has no idea what's happening.
Yeah, so to summarize, what he's done is he's climbed up a mountain, seen a almost dead guy get eaten by a worm, then get vomited up by that worm, and then he sees this, and he's like, I don't think any of the other shit primed me for this. This is the weirdest thing by far.
I want to go back to Paris with Barry.
Now, to be sure, he does search the lower right corner of the monitor screen for the Pornhub watermark. I mean,
yeah,
of course, he's going to see if this is snuff or staged or what's going on here. Now, not seeing one and fearing the number of directions this definitely a porn could go, he remains stunned, unsure of what to do. So he decides to watch it. After all, he's alone and no one will know. But just before it gets good, the screen goes blank.
And of course, just so that it's clear, he was watching a feed from Antarctica where Alexia was being kept in that cryogenic cylinder. So that was a live feed of her and Alfred doing brother-sister dying in a lap stuff.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Yep, and that's exactly why Chris moves forward with rubbing one out real quick. Next, we cut to a man dressed in black who's watching Chris via a monitor.
Oh, shoot, I guess Chris wasn't alone, so that's weird.
After this man cleans up following his own rubbing one out, we're allowed a moment to see this man's true emotions. The man seems upset that Alexia is fully conscious and singing. This doesn't seem to be according to plan. The man is surprised to see Chris here, but has a surprise of his own in store for him. He walks over to a control panel and activates a remote control vehicle, a small hovercraft. But we'd call it a drone these days.
Yeah, just another example of Resident Evil poorly naming their vehicles.
So next to the floaty fan is a giant large container A door slides up, and inside is a dark reptilian monster with glowing eyes. The creature climbs out. It's a hunter, a familiar enemy to those who have braved the depths of an umbrella facility in the past. The drone flies out. Oh, sorry, I can't think of any funny words for drone. Let's just say drone. The drone flies out of the room. The man in black is none other than Albert Wesker. He laughs heartily and creepily at his own devious plans.
A buzzy sky hummer.
Ah, thank you.
Yeah. Well, at some point here, and this will be important
Also
later.
sounds like an awesome blowjob name. That's like before you commit to the Mile High Club. Yeah. You're like, how about just a quick buzzy skyhammer?
Yeah, that's like the minor leagues of the Mile High Club. That's what you got to do the best you can do. All right. Well, okay, so at some point, because this will be important later, Chris glimpses a complete version of the Ashford family crest drifting down one of the water channels in the basement. It floats by and it disappears, and Chris has his hands full now, but he'll need to locate that crest eventually so he can dissolve the metals and get that golden halberd off of it. And remember, that's Chris's main mission right now, aside from staying alive and trying not to forget the soft yet bushy texture of Rodrigo's thin mustache.
You can't forget that, Chris. Don't try. Chris, completely ignorant of the fact that he's being watched, leaves the control room and continues to search for the chemicals to dissolve the crest. He comes across one of the chemicals appropriately located in the chemical storage facility. Where the other one is, he's not sure. But on his way out, he's spotted by that drone. It sets off an alarm that alerts the hunter to his position. Within seconds, the reptile-like enemy appears and lunges down at Chris. Then a second appears right behind him.
Wow. And not to be pedantic, but I feel like the drone is more of the hunter, and the hunter is more of a getter.
I know you don't want to be pedantic, Travis, but you are such a pedant. Ugh. Chris panics. He runs away, pulls out his submachine gun, dives, turns, and gives them hell. He knocks them down a few times with gunfire, but they keep getting back up. He says, "Fuck it," and escapes through a nearby door and runs back toward the control room. He now realizes there is more than one drone, and they are all over the base scanning for movement so they can alert the hunters. So Chris does his best to avoid tripping their scanning sight lasers. Fast forward, Chris solves a puzzle that reveals a hidden panel protected by even more laser beams. Inside the panel are 3 keyholes, a book, and a key to the cargo elevator. The book is another of Alfred's diaries. In it, Alfred talks about wanting to build a bridge from the military facility directly to his mansion using prison labor. Ugh. The entrance he currently uses takes him through an underground waterway and is cryptically sealed, probably via some bullshit puzzle.
Man, and villains, they just don't keep anything in their noggin. There's no way in hell I'm writing, "Dear Diary, was thinking of introducing some slave-like prison labor for a new bridge I've been thinking about. Made sugar cookies today, burned the bottoms. Getting a headache, hope I'm not coming down with something anyway until tomorrow. Also, I really want to fuck my sister. I'm out, Alfred."
Does he also write the word mic drop after he says...
Mic drop.
You know, you say you don't want to have that diary, but I think you should write that diary. I'd read it. Chris is then startled by a snide chuckle behind him. He turns to see Wesker, still wearing sunglasses inside the depths of a barely lit facility. Chris, man, I hope we find out why he wears sunglasses. Oh, well, let's keep reading. Chris and Wesker have a heated exchange. Then Chris goes to attack Wesker, who punts him across the room like a friggin' soccer ball.
Yeah.
Wesker hoists Chris in the air by his throat, and Chris punches the sunglasses right off of Wesker's stupid face, revealing his red cat-like eyes. Okay, all right,
Yeah.
There it is. Wesker tells Chris that Claire is doomed in the Antarctic and he'll never see her again. While Wesker is laughing maniacally, his maniacal laughter is interrupted by the maniacal laughter of Alexia on a nearby monitor.
Man, lots of monitors.
Mm-hmm.
It's like half this damn game takes place over Zoo.
Wesker slings Chris across the room and goes to see what's happening on the screen. Unfortunately, the storage tank that Wesker tosses Chris into bursts, and out comes one of the long-armed rubber guys we described last episode. Wesker then disappears like a bitch. Now, here's a bit of the conversation between Wesker and Chris.
What are you doing here?
I came for Alexia.
Who?
An organization hired me to capture her.
Wait, you attacked the island! And my sister!
You have no idea how much I hate you. You destroyed my plans, so now I've sold my soul to a new organization. Now die.
What new organization did he sell his soul to? Did he keep his Netflix subscription after they eliminated sharing and up the prices? Who knows what foul corporations this man supports?
Chris takes out the rubber man and resumes looking for the other chemical he needs. Hopefully, he doesn't get interrupted by more of the plot.
Right?
Chris takes the cargo elevator up to the first floor of the facility, which is still littered with fires from the earlier, sorry excuse for a self-destruction sequence. He finds the controls to the basement's ventilation system, clears the toxic fume/metaphorical ejaculate left over from Steve being a doofus, and then returns to the basement so he can continue looking for the chemical, which he finds out in the open on someone's desk.
Nice.
Good news. He mixes the two chemicals and creates the compound to dissolve the duploid alloy of the crest.
Yeah, one of the few times a white guy with a missing sister can mix chemicals in a basement of a rundown hideout and not be accused of making meth.
Dad, let's not rule anything out, okay? He might be making meth. So now Meth Head Chris needs to return to Alfred's escape route and use the compound on the door so he can finally advance this damn story. Despite Claire and Steve's earlier romp through the facilities and the apparently wimpy explosion from the self-destruct mechanism, there are somehow even more zombies lurking behind almost every corner. The next while is just Chris finding keys and solving puzzles and opening doors, Resident Evil stuff, so we'll skip ahead a bit.
Yeah. It also helps if you imagine Chris literally skipping as he makes his way through the facility.
At this point, Chris has accessed yet another secret passage, this one leading him far below the facility through a series of tunnels and ladders. And remember earlier, Travis mentioned the crest that floated by and disappeared out of sight? Down here in the sewers, he once again spots that crest, which has now settled in the bottom of a reservoir. He runs to grab it, but before he gets near it, a new enemy appears.
And I tell you, you could tell by the look on his face in this moment, Chris, well, he was crestfallen.
Boo. So we said new enemy, but we primed you for this enemy in our first episode. Remember the electric lizard that Claire briefly encountered and then wisely ran away from, and then also probably named a dance after, because that sounds like a wicked awesome line dance? The albinoid. Remember the albinoid?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, the one that shot down the pipe has ended up here, and my oh my, they grow up so fast.
Yeah.
This one is fully grown. At least we hope so, because it's big. It's a grotesque, skinless, lizard-like creature with no head, spikes protruding from its back, and electrical currents spidering between those spikes. Chris will want to keep his distance. Is it even safe to be in the same water as this thing? Will it be like a toaster in a bathtub scenario?
We'll be all shocked to find out.
Oh, God damn it. Toaster in the bathtub scenario is correct, actually. So if you guessed that one, you win 3 podcast points.
Yay.
Chris can't share water with this thing without being electrocuted, so what does Chris do? Impatiently, he leaps into the water and sprints toward the middle of the pool, and is shocked several times in the process, grabs the crest, continues to be shocked repeatedly, and leaves the pool of water.
Why?
He staggers hastily now with the crest in one hand, a fist he can't unclench in the other, and the blessings of lifelong sterility from repeatedly enduring 3,000 volts to his lower extremities. He heads back toward a secure location so he can mix a couple foreign chemicals and melt some metal, all without proper respiratory equipment or gloves.
God, what a badass! Holy shit! Meanwhile, all the shocks has fried his memories of the times he had with Rodrigo. Rodrigo is now officially dead, never mentioned again in Resident Evil lore. It's so sad.
Also, is this fucking crest like made of foam? I mean, it seems to be floating a lot. Does Chris never, not once consider that he's just chasing a fake crest? No, he doesn't? All right.
That's a great point.
Yeah. I thought crests were supposed to be emblematic. They endure. They were supposed to endure generations, and if I gifted my child on my deathbed a lump of foam, that kid would be right to disown me and probably come up with a new crest and not want to honor the shitty crest I gave him.
That's fair. Man, I'm just now realizing that it was floating on water.
It's floating on water. Now, with the golden halberd, the thing he's been trying to obtain for what seems like several hours at this point, he heads toward Alfred's secret escape tunnel, unlocks the door, steps inside the private hangar, and is greeted by a Harrier jet that rolls right up to him, pops open the cockpit door, and invites him inside.
Who is Alfred? Batman?
It looks like Alfred has 2 Harrier jets primed for a sudden escape. Why 2? Probably so we could have a plot where Chris is able to leave this place and quickly traverse to Antarctica to find Claire, which is exactly what he intends to do.
Man, give it up to Alfred for having the plot in mind. The man knows character, he knows story. I respect it.
Chris flies uninterrupted to Umbrella's base in Antarctica and parks right in their hangar. He takes the elevator up and sees the plane that Claire and Steve were in sticking out of the wall. Not only that, but there are strange tentacles sticking out of the wall as well. Probably unrelated, I would imagine. Chris shoots the tentacles away and marches on, hoping to find Claire and Steve alive somewhere. He doesn't think to check the crashed aircraft for bodies, instead relying on blind faith and clinging to the hope that they both survived without injury and are somewhere alive and well inside the facility. An Antarctic facility that's several degrees below freezing, full of zombies surrounded by tentacles, all while they're being chased by a madman who just awoke his superhuman sister, and also by Albert Wesker, who could be anywhere by now. You know, personally, I would just check the wreckage for bodies first.
Same.
Chris then arrives at Alfred's office. Now recall Claire and Steve were here earlier. Chris uses the golden halberd to unlock a bookcase Claire and Steve couldn't access. Inside is another of Alfred's diaries, this one disguised as a paperweight. The diary talks about how Alfred accessed a sealed room of his father's and learned about an insane secret, quote-unquote, regarding his and Alexia's birth. Alfred writes,
I hate my father, that fool Alexander. Now it is obvious that we were merely created in an attempt to cover my father's blunder. I can never trust him again. I must regain the glory of the Ashford family with my sister. I have nothing to be afraid of, as long as Alexia is with me.
Uh-oh. Got bad news for you, dude. All right. I hope this guy hasn't played this game yet, because... Later, Alfred talks about an experiment that transformed his father into an out-of-control monster, so they locked him in an underground prison cell. Sound familiar? That's Nosferatu. Undeterred, the siblings still wished to further their father's work and discover the T-virus, so Alexia decided to experiment on herself.
And not in the fun way that requires AA batteries and a bedroom door that locks.
To complete her experiment, she wished to be kept asleep for 15 years, so she faked her own death and was placed in cryogenic storage. Alfred blames his father, quote, that idiot, for taking his sister from him for all that time.
My God, he sounds more and more like Steve, just wham daddy wah stuff. Does anybody in this game love their dad?
Nope. The diary further reveals the solution to a puzzle that guards a, you guessed it, secret passageway. Somewhere on this base, he'll need to locate 3 jewels, each worn by a member of the Ashford family in order to open it. So, literal family jewels.
Not testicles, okay.
Lots of puzzles, well, it could be. Lots of puzzles are not worth mentioning, but this one is a big deal and leads to the big finale. So remember, 3 jewels. One worn by Alexia, one by Alfred, and one by Alexander needs to be retrieved and fit into a painting that has 3 jewel holes in it.
Man, this game is obsessed with fitting physical items to paintings in order to unlock doors.
Fast forward. Chris is mulling about the facility, unlocking doors, capping zombies, that whole thing. At one point, he's standing on a catwalk and doesn't notice a large, shadowy shape moving beneath him. Later, he encounters one of Wesker's drones that triggers the hunters. Weird. Didn't we leave Wesker behind?
Yeah.
Well, we tried. Anyway, Wesker is now in Antarctica. Confirmed. Chris dodges the drone's beams and makes his way to the 5th floor, where he comes to an area that is an exact replica of the main hall from the Spencer mansion. Once the deja vu subsides, he heads to the 6th floor, where a massive anthill, or rather, ant tower, awaits.
God damn, that poor contractor. All right, first of all, my Antarctica fee is, well, let's say exorbitant. I want to make that clear. Secondly, you want us to import how many ants? And you want an ant, I'm sorry, did you see an ant tower built on top of a replica mansion? All right. Give me till Friday.
As your contractor character always is able to pull through, though. He's always able to do it.
They'll promise
impressive.
Whatever.
Yeah, it's pretty impressive.
Yeah.
And he keeps getting hired, so his Angie's List score must be pretty good.
It's true. I realize this is also a different one because my other one has a New York accent, and I gave this guy a redneck accent. So now we got 2 contractors out in the wild.
Shit.
Who knows?
Crawling all over I want to see these 2 guys set up shop right next to each other on accident. And then over a casual coffee or something, they realize they both build crazy contraptions for psychos.
You a contractor too, huh?
They become really competitive, you know? They're like, well, one time I built an anthill, like out of a lot of ants. Only an anthill? I did like a whole tower in Antarctica. Also,
Get out of here.
I can't remember what my accent was supposed to be.
I do so much traveling these days.
I travel here, I travel there. I build ant towers, I build ant hills. All right, crawling all over the top of the ant tower are large, mutated, and winged, you guessed it, ants. Thousands. On either side of the ant tower are doors to laboratories.
Oh, yeah.
One of the labs has been neglected for a long time, and the other looks to be carefully maintained. Inside the cutting-edge, carefully maintained lab, Chris interacts with a device and some supercomputers, and then a cryogenic tube shoots up in the center of the room. It opens, and Alfred's corpse plops onto the floor. Chris is amazed at his luck. A dead villain that he himself didn't have to kill, and lo and behold, on Alfred's finger is a ring with a jewel on it. Oh man, one of the three he'll need later, no less. Be weird if it wasn't, and I led up to it in that kind of way. He takes the ring and goes to the other lab.
Also, I like to imagine Chris continuing to push the button on the machine to see if it produces more dead guys. He's crossing his fingers behind his back. He's like, come on, Rodrigo, please be in here. Carlos, anybody?
The other, more neglected lab is less exciting. No free dead guys, but there are documents here that add some clarity to Alexia's situation. This lab hasn't been entered by anyone in a while, maybe around 15 years, because on a desk are Alexia's research notes from before she was frozen. The notes say that Alexia discovered the remains of an ancient virus in the genes of a queen ant, and so, since then, she has focused her research on, well, you guessed it, the ants. That should have been obvious from the giant ant hotel just in the other room. Per the documents, Alexia seemed to appreciate how the soldier and worker ants dedicated their lives to the queen as slaves. Death of the queen spells doom for the anthill, but death of the workers and soldiers means nothing so long as the queen is alive. Alexia's words here are, quote, "This is exactly the same relationship between myself and the other ignorant masses." She then clarifies for the idiots among us, quote, "Because I'm like really important, you know, and pretty and so perfect. And I mean, I could get a job, but like being beautiful is kind of a job." So, end quote. She also says she has succeeded in creating an ideal virus by implanting the queen ant's gene into the mother virus that Spencer found and then used her father as the test subject. This test, as we now know, ruined her father, destroying his brain and making him a monster.
Yeah, and with a sweet nickname like Nosferatu, that's cool, right? It's not all bad for him. They could have called him something like Old Winter Sausage or Mr. McMoney Axe Handles or something like that. But instead, they went for a classic monster reference. I'm just saying, it's not all bad.
Yeah. It's fun to say Nosferatu.
Yeah.
You know? I like it.
Yeah.
She could have went with Mansquito, I would have said, which is a real monster from a 2005 movie of the same name, or Octoman from the 1971 movie.
Okay.
Or Alligator Person from the 1959 movie about a woman who marries an alligator, which aside from being a dumb name would also imply a bit of an Oedipal situation. So good job, Alexia, on multiple fronts.
Yeah. Alligator Person. That's the whole name.
That's the name. Alligator Person.
Wow.
That was before, it was long ago. It was 1959. They hadn't yet invented like creativity.
Yeah. But you'd think then you'd have, it's 1959, it's early enough. You got all the names out there at your disposal. You're not copying anybody. You can do whatever.
Yeah, but you didn't know you could, though, you know?
Yeah.
Like, you thought, you were like, I don't want someone to think I'm crazy. I got to make sure people know there's an alligator and there's a person, you know?
It's fair. It's like when they were first naming those Atari games back in the day. And somebody's like, this will probably be the only adventure game that comes out ever. I'm probably just going to call it Adventure.
Yeah, and it was. I've never played another video game since. Of course, no diary, or as evidenced by all of the surprise I exhibit when reading these scripts. Of course, no diary or research notes left behind in Resident Evil are complete without some hint to a future puzzle. Turns out Daddy, aka Nosferatu, leaks a poison gas, and the antidote for it is stored in a warehouse in the basement. It's good to know.
My dad would also leak a poison gas. It was always after we'd eat breakfast at Shoney's, though.
And finally, on the last page of this rather enormous document, Alexia states that she has decided to name this virus, a virus she describes as having unimaginable potential, the T. Veronica virus. You know, after her grandmother or something, I already forgot.
Yeah. And as far as grandmother virus names go, I like it. Mine would have been either like T. Pauline or T. Bessie. You know, and the T. Bessie virus sounds like it gives you a runny butt and a sore throat. So,
Oh, man, I've got T. Ethel. Or T. Francis. Those are my grandma names.
oh, that's neat.
Not really. T. Ethel sounds like a gas I would put in a car.
Yeah. It also seems like people would shorten it to Tethel.
Oh, that's true, yeah. Now I'm on board, actually. I kind of like it. Chris moves on and finds a key to a crane inside an aquarium. Probably the best place to hide a crane key, if we're honest. It's not a see-through aquarium like you put pretty betta fish in. It's more of a storage tank for aquatic zombies. Either way, A+ hiding spot for a crane key.
Damn right.
Chris gets back to the crane, starts it up, and raises the crane, thereby breaking through the ice. Mission accomplished. Oh wait, did we tell you that we needed to break some ice to solve a puzzle? No? Anyway, Chris raises the crane, and dangling on the crane's hook is not an icy cold fish, but instead Alexander, quote, Nosferatu, unquote, Ashford's dead body.
Wow.
He's impaled on the hook, lifeless. How did this happen? Well, Chris can't believe his luck, with free dead guy bodies everywhere. Behind the body stands Alexia. She mocks Chris, saying some weird, pathetic, evil villain shit involving bugs and flies, and then asks Chris how he wants to die.
To which Chris responded, not via crane hook, if that was an option. That looks fucking terrible. Jesus Christ.
It wasn't an option, no. The only option Alexia was going to offer was death by spider. Chris has already seen some pretty big spiders today, but none bigger than this one. It bursts through the ice, and Chris reacts as many of us would, by squealing like a bitch and jumping out the window.
Yeah, for sure.
The spider destroys the control room and leaps after Chris. Alexia is suddenly nowhere to be found. While the spider is big and strong, it's not very smart or fast. It seems to be the opposite of most other spiders. So Chris is able to run circles around it and will fill it full of military-grade ammunition until it dies.
Wow.
Yeah, fresh off a sweet spider kill, Chris still maintains the wherewithal to check Nosferatu's body for goods and finds an earring with a jewel on it.
Boom.
Now he just needs one more family jewel, and that will have to come from Alexia.
Yeah, and if his luck tracks, she'll just turn up dead soon. I bet he's not even worried.
I'm a little concerned that he's not taking one of the jewels. Each time he finds a jewel, he's not going back to the painting and being like, I just want to make sure this is one of them, and like puts it in. Because like jewels can be on things that are not keys.
Yeah.
You know? They can be on any sorts of earring or any sorts of ring or necklace or trinket or dangly thing or whodunit or what have you.
Yeah, and it could have really meant testicles. He didn't even check.
Yeah, he didn't. I just want to walk in on him stuffing his junk up to a painting. I hope it's a portrait, because then it's going to be really hard for him to argue that he's not doing, like, you know, gross masturbatory stuff with a face. He's be like, no, seriously, I was just seeing if my junk fit in these holes. Dude, that's like a painting of like an old lady. Like, that's weird, man. Oh. Heading back toward the main hall to where the replica of Spencer's mansion was, Chris finds that painting for the Ashfords that has slots for jewels. There's a slot on Alexander's ear, Alfred's finger, and Alexia's neck. Her jewel must be on a necklace.
That's what I was thinking. Or it could be in her Alfred's apple. It would only work if now because now they're two people. Earlier they were one. But yeah, that's fine.
Chris,
the joke expired last episode. That's on me.
You can't pass up an opportunity to say Alfred's apple.
I know.
Chris starts looking for Alexia, but takes a peek behind the mansion staircase first, because you never know when you might find Harry Potter, and honestly, he could really just come in handy right now.
Yeah. If we could get around on a broomstick, make some shit floater, talk to the paintings, this ordeal would have been over back in Raccoon City.
Chris doesn't find Harry Potter, but he does find Claire, which is probably better.
Probably.
Claire has been sealed inside some kind of cocoon and is a little groggy. Chris cuts her free. She comes to, hugs him, and then blurts out that she can't wait until they find Steve. Ugh.
Yeah, I know, right?
Hi, Chris. Oh my God, I thought you were dead somewhere in Europe. I thought the zombies got you. I can't wait to tell Mom you're okay.
No, she was worried about fucking Steve.
Chris doesn't know who Steve is, so Claire explains a bit. Now Chris also hates Steve, forces a few jokes at the expense of emo punk music, and begs Claire to just leave him behind because he sounds like a tumor on society.
A little bit.
Claire isn't having it and wants to find Steve. Chris submits and agrees to help, but as Claire stands up, she becomes a little woozy and believes she's been poisoned.
Yeah. And just when you think it's probably poisoned from that 900-pound spider we fought a second ago, and the fact that she woke up, it's not even explained. No one asks anybody, but she woke up in a cocoon like she was being saved to be eaten later by that 900-pound spider. If you were thinking that was why she was poisoned, you'd be wrong. The poison is actually from Alexia's leaky dad.
Oh,
remember?
yeah.
From Shoney's or whatever. And the antidote is in a warehouse somewhere in the basement.
It's just a big vat of Tums. So Chris leaves Claire alone, right where he found her, like a moron, and runs toward the basement to find a warehouse that has an antidote that he read about on a piece of paper left behind on the villain's desk 15 years ago. Moving on.
Hey.
So anyway, long diversion short, he gets the antidote and gives it to Claire, who is still sitting propped up against the staircase in the main foyer. That's right, Chris left her asleep and weaponless in an open room of a zombie-filled mansion with the main villain still lurking about. Brother of the year, this turd.
Jeez.
The anecdote. He has a short story about something that could save her life. It's a pretty good anecdote. So the antidote acts quickly, and Claire is back on her feet in no time. But the siblings learn they're not alone.
Feeling better?
Thanks to you. Just like a big brother, huh? You're always looking out for your little sister.
It's Alexia!
Alexia? There really is an Alexia?
It is almost time, you genetically inferior siblings.
After her! She might know where Steve is.
Let's go.
Well, okay, first of all, if she did know where Steve is, he'd be dead. And two, that would be fine. You have each other finally. Let's get the fuck out of here.
To be fair, Alexia's powers are unknown, and she still lurks about the base. And Chris and Claire aren't just escaping any old base. Remember, they're trapped in Antarctica. They don't really have an escape plan. Granted, Steve probably doesn't have much of one either, what with being a teenager who thinks Jared Leto is cool. But still, the Redfields elect to take care of business here first and then plot and escape later.
Okay. Well, I was actually just buying us some time because the next part scared the shit out of me.
Yeah, just after some cutscenes with Alexia, you think it's time to resume your slow march through the base, killing zombies and solving puzzles, but no. As Chris and Claire get to their feet and begin to hunt for Steve, a giant, writhing, snake-like tentacle bursts through the wall and destroys the balcony they're standing on. Chris plummets and falls to the marble floor beneath. Claire is also knocked unconscious by the attack, but remains on the balcony. Chris and Claire are now separated. The tentacle drops down to the marble floor beneath. It slithers around like an eyeless copperhead and inspects Chris. It then suddenly darts out through the hole in the wall from where it entered.
Yeah. And tentacle implies it is attached to something bigger. This was really like one big eyeless snake or a rogue tentacle. Very likely the same kind of tentacle that brought down our plane earlier. I'm thinking escaping Antarctica might be tough with that thing out and about.
So does that freak you out more that it's like it's maybe a tentacle that's been chopped off of a bigger monster, and that tentacle could operate independently of the big monster?
Yeah, that's absolutely. I'd rather it be on the monster because then I can keep my eye on both of them.
Ah, that's a good point. Yeah, I don't even know why I asked that stupid question.
Would you rather you rather not see it before it goes in your butt, or you rather see it while it's in front of you and not near your butt?
Would you rather be in a situation that you could probably escape from, or would you rather be in a situation you can definitely not escape from? This is a tough one. Claire wakes first and peers over the balcony at Chris, who is also starting to stir. Looks like they both survived the eyeless snake attack, but Claire can't get to Chris. Chris seems to have hurt his knee in the fall, and from behind the door where Alexia escaped, there's a loud scream. No! It's tough to tell at this point whether it's Alexia or Steve screaming. They kind of sound the same. But Chris urges Claire to go on without him and save Steve.
Yeah, great idea. Splitting up in a Resident Evil game has gone well for everyone every time.
So Claire runs and leaves Chris and his bum knee behind. Even though as she's running away, he's going, Ow, owie, 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 for like a really long time. He wants attention, Claire, but nope, just leave. As Claire makes her way through the old mansion replica, 2 more tentacles burst through the windows at her.
Feels like a callback to the dogs bursting through in the first Resident Evil game.
Claire fires on them with her machine gun. Oh, by the way, she dropped by a safe room and picked up her machine gun, and proves these things can be eliminated.
Good. I needed to see at least one die.
She reaches an area that resembles a stone prison with metal bars and medieval weaponry adorning the walls. She takes the time to snoop, and who wouldn't? Antique weapons are pretty neat. And she finds a note written by Alexander, before he was Nosferatu, of course, that instructs how to arm the base's self-destruct system. The password? You guessed it, Veronica. I don't know, maybe you guessed it. You could have also guessed ants, and I wouldn't have blamed you.
I've been guessing ants and Veronica for almost everything. And also, it makes sense that so near the end of a game with both the main villain and a mysterious tentacle monster lurking about that the only way we're getting out of here alive and with those things dead is via the old self-destruct routine. Think 2 bases in a single game, both with a self-destruct sequence, a first in Tales history. It's almost like this should have been 2 games.
And you know what's good about this is you know you're going to be getting out alive because it's probably the same person who invented, who did the other self-destruct mechanism, probably did this one. So it's going to be like a Black Cat firecracker at most. So.
Yeah, either that or what if the country contractor did one.
Oh, right.
And the
That's
New York contractor did the other one. One of them was really good at self-destruct, and the other one's like, I don't know, I got dabble.
Well, whichever way it is, there's some good news, right? We're near the end of this game.
Yeah. I think. Yeah.
I guess. Also, worth noting, only because it's dumb, Claire finds a key card in the bottom of an antique cannon by tilting it toward the floor so it could fall out.
Wow.
The key card works at the end of the hall where a doorway opens up to a corridor lined with suits of armor. At the very end of this hall is Steve. He's trapped in the same way Alexander Ashford, a.k.a. Nosferatu, was. He's pinned to the wall with an axe handle braced across his chest. Steve is awake, but clearly doesn't feel so good.
I feel so trapped right now.
Also, Steve is much tinier than Nosferatu, so this axe is probably more of a hatchet.
Yeah, it's cute.
Claire presses a button on the wall that frees Steve from the wall. He tells her that Alexia was planning to attempt the same experiment on him that she had done on her father.
Yeah, which is a lousy idea. You shouldn't do the same experiment, because you already know how that one turned out with Pops. Tweak it a little bit at least. Give it a dick. Give something a dick.
And dear listener, Trav has bona fides here. This is coming from a guy that literally designs experiments as a job. So listen to him.
Yeah.
Always add a dick, all right? It's not an A/B test, it's an AD test. Add dicks.
Yeah, yes.
Well, bad news. I don't think she tweaked it. Within seconds, Steve's voice gets gravelly and deeper. He realizes something is happening to him. Something is taking over his body. He looks at his hands, confused. He shrieks in pain. His shrieks turn to growls as his flesh splits open, revealing a nasty green monster with large claws covered in scales, and then triples in size. Wow. Claire backs away, horrified. I almost kissed that guy, she thinks. Somehow, Steve's face remains recognizable and boy-like. He stands, towering over her, and removes the giant axe from the wall. Claire's paralyzed by what she sees, but snaps out of it just as Steve takes a giant swing at her, narrowly missing. To make matters worse, at the same time, the iron gate at the other end of the corridor begins to lower. Claire sprints for the exit, hoping she won't be trapped inside here with Monster Steve, who clearly has an axe to grind.
I don't know. I think I'd rather be trapped in here with him like this than the way he was before.
Claire dives and rolls under the closing gate just in time, leaving Scary Steve on the other side. He's massive and angry, but no match for a simple set of iron bars. For now. He whacks at the bars relentlessly with his axe while Claire puts a little too much trust in their integrity and rests against a nearby wall instead of running for safety.
Claire, you gotta run, girl!
Then, out of nowhere, the tentacle returns.
Shit!
It bursts through the wall and snatches Claire, coiling around her like a boa constrictor and holding her in place long enough for Steve to finally burst through the iron bars. I was really adamant about it being doors, but it turns out it's bars.
Thank you.
He walks over and rears back to cleave her head off while the tentacle holds her steady like a T. She looks away, resigned to her fate, helpless. He takes a swing, but just before the blade connects with Claire's neck, something happens. He remembers he's into emo music, which means he doesn't know how sports work. No. The blade does stop, but it stops just inches from her. Steve's red eyes twitch. He lets out a roar, rears back again with the axe, and chops the tentacle in two? What? It uncoils and darts off. Well, what's left of it anyway. Steve transforms back into his human form, shirtless, exhausted, and still cringe-inducingly emo.
No one understands the monster inside me.
Oh, you know that's a situation he's never going to shut up about. Remember when I was like a for real monster, man? You remember that? Let's make out, Claire. Claire gently strokes his cheek. Face cheek, for those of you wondering. It'd be weird if it was a butt.
I need to start specifying which cheeks from now on.
Yeah,
in
you
the
do.
script. Gently strokes his face cheek.
She begs him to hang in there. He's cold. He's cold, of course. They're in Antarctica. Also, he's shirtless now. He tells her he can't keep his promise to her, to protect her. He's happy he met her. He loves her. Then he dies, and Claire cries into his shoulder.
Oh, thank God.
Yuck, Jesus Christ. Cut to Wesker, ambling up the stairs of the main foyer of the mansion toward Alexia, who stands proudly at the top. She laughs maniacally as he approaches. Wesker, notably not wearing his trademark shades and exposing his piercing red eyes, tells her that he's on a mission to retrieve the T. Veronica virus, and, bad news for Alexia, the only remaining sample is inside her. She'll have to come with him.
Yeah. What if she's like, okay. And then he let her out to his Ford Escort, and they just went off to Resident Evil villain prison. No issues. That'd be cool.
Oh, man. But no, it keeps going.
Ah.
Alexia is, of course, not into that idea and scoffs. According to her, Wesker isn't worthy of the virus's power. She descends down the stairs toward him and bursts into flames, her clothes disintegrating from her body. Her skin turns gray, and she forms an insect-like exoskeleton. Even Wesker, as badass as he is, cautiously backs away. But not fast enough, as Alexia bitch smacks him across the room. She then turns and shoots a smile at Chris, who had been hiding in the room behind a column this whole time. Her smile suggesting she knew he was there all along. While Alexia is looking at Chris, Wesker tries to flee, but she gestures with her hand and creates a wall of flame in front of the door to block him in. But she's too late. He just gets through unscathed. Even though the attempt wasn't a success, she did look like some kind of hellborn Jedi, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, it was pretty cool. Honestly, if you could make firewalls appear all over the place, why wouldn't you make firewalls appear all over the place instead of maniacally laughing and giving your enemies opportunities to escape? Villains are so stupid.
With her attention on Wesker, now Chris makes a move to flee up the stairs. Alexia isn't caught slipping this time and repeats her move, this time nearly frying Chris like a chicken wing with her flames.
Yeah.
He tumbles down the stairs, lightly charred. Now with both exits sealed with flames, it's Chris versus Alexia. He pulls out a shotgun and gets to some murdering.
Yeah.
Despite her wickedness and ability to create fire all willy-nilly, she's no match for about 5 shotgun blasts to her ugly, stupid face. She falls to the floor. Chris collects the jewel out of her necklace, dabs a bit of herb to relax his nerves, and heads back toward that weird painting with the holes in it.
Well, that was easy.
Chris places the jewels in the painting, revealing Alexander's secret passage. One of his many secret passages, of course. As Chris slips into the passage, Alexia climbs to her feet behind him. To the surprise of no one, there's no way she'd go down that easily. Inside, the secret area is a remodeled version of Alfred and Alexia's childhood bedrooms, and yet another excuse for the developers to reuse assets from the first half of the game. Chris spies a golden dragonfly and pockets it. Fun fact, this room is where Alfred and Alexia taped themselves killing the dragonfly in that creepy snuff film.
Wow, that is a fact. It's fun level. Debatable.
Later, Chris finds himself in an abandoned lab where presumably Alexander Ashford, before he came Nosferatu, once conducted his research. On a desk, Chris finds the Code Veronica report, written by Alexander. It reads...
And it reads in that 1920s transatlantic. After many long years of research, I finally identified the inheritance element that administers the intelligence of man. I even succeeded in manipulating the absolute value of intelligence artificially by recomposing the base alignment of the element. I then sampled the gene. I scrolled a bit and lost my place. I then sampled the gene of our great ancestor, manipulated its element, then implanted it into the unfertilized egg of a surrogate mother. What I didn't expect was that twins, a boy and a girl, were born. The boy had higher intelligence than normal, but not high enough for him to be considered a genius. However, the girl had unmatched intelligence that easily allowed her to be classified as a genius. She was exactly what I had been looking for, the revival of our great ancestor. I already determined their names. The girl's name, Alexia, and the boy's name, Alfred. I am certain that Alexia will elevate the name of the Ashford family to extreme glory. Alfred, well, he's kind of a piece of shit. Alexander Ashford. 19 something or another.
There's nothing like a transatlantic accent to casually dismiss how important the thing is that you're reading as though it's nothing. And then, of course, I sampled the gene of our great ancestor, manipulated its elements, and then implanted it into the unfertilized egg of a surrogate mother. Of course, yada, yada, yada. What I didn't expect.
It's so true. It's like, do you guys care about anything?
Nope. Mm-mm. In short, Alexia and Alexander aren't his real children. They are the result of a genetic experiment using a sample of Veronica's DNA. They're technically her children, not his.
On the next Maury!
Chris makes his way further into the mansion and comes to a cell block where prisoners were kept for experiments. Claire is locked inside one of the rooms. She and Chris talk through the door, and Claire lets Chris know that Steve finally got his wish to die sad and pathetically.
Yeah!
She slides a binder with a key card and Steve's band demo CD under the door. The binder says that once the self-destruct system is activated, all the locks disengage to aid with evacuation. So once Chris triggers the self-destruct sequence, she'll be free. But then they'll need to hurry, or else a boom.
Yeah, man. How the hell does Claire keep ending up stuck in places? We found her trapped in a cocoon under the steps earlier. We didn't even ask her about it. Now she's in a weird prison by herself. How's she keep ending up in this shit?
I think I would blame like maybe the spider on the cocoon part.
Yeah.
I mean that one's pretty straightforward. I'd also blame the spider for the prison. Spiders with their 40 fingers, they can manipulate locks and shit.
That's true. It's been the spider this whole time was like, hide in here. There's no zombies in here. He's just trying to keep her safe from the zombies he doesn't.
That's right. The spider can't talk. We did establish that.
Yeah.
And I bet the spider is suave as hell, you know?
Hey, baby, do you want to come hang out in my cocoon?
Chris heads back to the control room, uses the keycard from Claire to access the system, enters the password, Veronica, and sets the place to self-destruct. All locks disengage, a siren rings out, and a voice announces there is 5 minutes until it all goes boom. I like that the voice also says the boom part. Claire runs up and hugs Chris. Chris reminds her now is not the time. They have boom to worry about.
That's right. Claire, I need you to listen, okay? Please, do not lock yourself in any more rooms for the next 5 minutes. Do not crawl inside any spiders. Don't talk to a spider. Don't trust a spider. Don't fall down any shafts. If you see a digging machine, don't get on it. Please focus. I need 5 minutes of your focus.
What about, like, 2 spiders?
No! Claire!
Okay. I promise. Pinky swear. Okay. They head toward an emergency elevator, but just before they get inside, a tentacle bursts through the door, mouth hole agape, and vomits the wet, mucus-covered, stinky, naked body of Alexia Ashford out at their feet.
Ew.
It then assimilates with her, and she stands tall once again with her shiny gray exoskeleton protecting her.
These tentacles are like cats, just darting around everywhere, fucking up shit and throwing up in random places?
Yeah, it sucks, man. It just so happens that this emergency elevator has some weapons behind protective glass, like you might see for a fire axe. The weapon is called a linear launcher, and no one is real sure what it can do besides launching something in a line, we presume. But it's the only shot they have, literally. As Alexia slowly approaches them, Claire runs over and breaks the glass and retrieves the weapon, which they quickly learn must take time to charge before it can be useful.
Duh.
Charging it takes a little while. Chris urges Claire to run for it. He'll handle Alexia. But Alexia produces a wall of fire that keeps Claire inside the elevator.
Yikes. And with the way they've been naming shit in this game, first with the vehicles and now with the guns, I'm surprised the emergency elevator wasn't called a Lifty Whoops.
I wonder if, like, the glass they broke, like, instead of saying, like, in case of emergency, it said, like, in case of anticipation of a future emergency. Just given how long it has to charge.
Yeah, that's true. Please be at least 5 minutes out from your nearest emergency before you break this glass.
Chris figures, what the hell, and fires his pistol at Alexia. It's a big mistake. That just makes her mad, as getting shot would to really anybody. And she transforms into an even bigger, badder, and scarier monster. In fact, she's transformed into an enormous queen ant, and from beneath her, through the mesh floor of the emergency elevator, lifty-whoopsie, rush in thousands upon thousands of large winged ants. Alexia isn't done transforming yet. No. Her body separates, and her head flies out with an insect body dangling beneath, and she takes off her glasses, and then everyone realizes she's pretty. And so then she gets a date to the prom. Oh, it's so heartwarming. Oh, and then she menacingly floats around the room while Chris shits himself.
Yeah, but thankfully, mesh floor. He just lets it roll down his pant leg, no big deal.
Oh, that's smart. He's waffle stomps it right through. That's
best place in the whole game to shit yourself. This could have happened at a better junction.
As the flying monster Alexia darts around the elevator, which, by the way, is a pretty big elevator with lots of room for Resident Evil boss fight finale, Chris tries to line her up in the sights of the linear launcher, but has trouble hitting her because she's so damned wily. Meanwhile, she spews toxic venom down on him and burns his skin, making it tough to hold his aim steady. He does manage to get off one lucky shot, which is all he needs, and upon impact, Alexia's mutated body swells before exploding into a shower of blood and guts. According to our narrative sources, Dan Burlew and Thomas Wilde, the, quote, linear launcher, is umbrella speak for plasma rifle, and upon witnessing the effects of a gun, we have to agree.
Yeah, we could call it a bug zapper.
You know what? Or we could have called it a plasma rifle. That would have been also something to call it. At some point during the fight, Claire managed to escape the elevator, and once again, Chris will have to find her. Now, if you're wondering what happened with that self-destruct timer we said about 4.5 minutes ago, well, guess what? It's still ticking, and there can't be much time left before, boom. I would assume some explosions have already been set off, evident by the walls beginning to shake. Chris sprints down a narrow corridor, crawling with zombies, and dives, ducks, jukes, dodges, sidesteps, and shoulders them out of the way until he arrives at an underground seaport. Again, almost everything here in the Antarctic base is replicated from the one we were in during the first episode, the underground seaport included.
Yeah, and again, this is where up stuff, like planes, hang out near down stuff, like boats. It makes no sense, especially here, where the up stuff and down stuff are separated by a layer of ice. So you can't get me this time. I know last time we went up through the water and out, and I was like, oh, okay, maybe. Now there's ice. Try it again. I bet it won't work.
I think you just amended the episode title. I think it's now like Vroomy Buzzers and Down Stuff.
There's so much stuff.
Chris enters the seaport to find Wesker standing near a docked submarine and holding Claire in a headlock. There's an exchange, let's say.
Well done, Chris. It turns out that Alexia's work wasn't much of anything. So now, the only thing left is revenge.
Let her go, Wesker! You don't want her.
Fine.
Claire!
Today's a good day. I came for Alexia, but killing you is even better.
Sorry to disappoint you, but Alexia is gone.
That's no longer a concern to me. I have Steve to work with.
What?
Steve. In his body, there's still a living T. Alexia virus. Steve should be a good specimen. Maybe he'll come back alive just as I did and be able to see your sister again.
You freak!
Don't you touch him!
I'm sorry, dear heart. But my men have already taken him.
You get out of here, Claire.
But what about...
As a surviving member of STARS, I have to finish this.
Remember your promise.
I'll end this once and for all. Say hello to my comrades who you've killed.
I don't know where you get your confidence, Chris.
So during that, Wesker tosses Claire to the floor, making it unclear why he had her in a headlock to begin with, if he was just going to hand her over to Chris.
He's like, it wasn't a headlock. I was just happy to see her and hug nothing but her face.
So we do learn a few important things in that conversation, like the T. Veronica virus was essentially nothing. Wesker came to get Alexia, but now that she's gone, he could finally get his revenge on Chris. And even with Alexia gone, he can still get a sample of the T virus because Steve still has enough in him to, quote, work with. And even though Steve seems mostly dead, Wesker suggests he may come back from the dead someday, like he himself did, to hook up with Claire. Gross.
Hey, Claire, I'm alive again. But I still feel dead inside.
Gross. So now, Chris and Wesker are squaring off, mano-y-mano. Wesker takes off his glasses, once again exposing his creepy red eyes, and walks toward Chris. Chris steps back and stealthily reaches to grab an iron bar that conveniently rests on a table nearby, and once Wesker is close enough, Chris takes a swing. But Wesker is too fast. He catches the bar mid-swing and kicks Chris to the floor. The self-destruct alarm continues to ring out.
How the hell has 5 minutes not passed yet? I mean, the timer started during Chris's fight with Alexia. That was easily 20 minutes ago.
The fight rages on, and Wesker has the upper hand. He deals some hearty blows to Chris, slinging him around like a rag doll. At one point, Wesker kicks Chris so hard in the gut that he flies at least 10 feet in the air before landing headfirst on concrete. Somehow, still conscious.
Ugh.
Chris looks over at one point and notices a crank to a pulley that is hoisting some steel beams up high overhead. Chris lunges for the crank, causing the pulley to release its load. And about a dozen heavy steel beams drop right on Wesker's head and pin him to the ground. Will that be enough?
Never. Apparently Wesker can melt steel beams with those red eyes. That's why he has the glasses.
Correct. No video game has ever ended with a villain buried in steel beams. Wesker gets up, staggering a bit, tells Chris, "Nice try." And their fisticuffs resume. The self-destruction of the base is underway now.
Finally!
And a nearby explosion wrecks a piece of heavy equipment. The blast scorches on the side of Wesker's dumb face, and a large piece of fiery debris falls between them. It looks like a giant pipe or something, maybe 4 feet high, and it's on fire. The fire is raging, sure, and the flames are tall, maybe another 4 feet. The reason I'm describing this to you, dear listener, is that it is somehow enough of a barrier to make Wesker give up. Yeah, Wesker, the man, I guess, who we told you last episode leapt at least 12 feet in the air and over a fence just to show off in front of Claire. With the maniacal, villainous laugh, Wesker says, "Until we meet again." Okay, then I guess that's that. All right.
Yeah, well, he just totally gives up. Like, total bitch move. I appreciate it, though. He's like, Jesus, how long is this Tales episode? Chris, we better go ahead and wrap this up, bud. I'll see you in RE4. Peace.
Chris turns and runs to the emergency elevator to resume his exit before the place blows to smithereens. An enormous blast from beneath the base shoots fire up the shaft toward Chris while Claire waits patiently in a jet for him to emerge. Her patience wears thin as she can hear explosions erupting beneath. Meanwhile, the ants from Alexia's anthill are on fire and skittering about the elevator shaft, giving Chris the flaming heebie-jeebies.
Yeah.
The elevator doors open just in time for the pressurized blast to launch Chris out of the elevator, through the air about 50 feet, and onto the nose cone of the jet. Perfect.
Nice shot. He's unaffected by this somehow, though, even though it's pretty clear he just broke every rib in his body. Because he landed stomach first against a piece of metal 50 feet away. He thudded against that jet like a gnat on a windshield, dude.
He turns his head toward a concerned Claire and says, "Hey, you know that I always keep my promises." She giggles. He hops in the jet, and they lift off. As Chris pilots the plane, there's a conversation.
Chris, promise me. Please promise that you won't leave me alone again.
I'm sorry, Claire, but it's not over yet. There's still something we've got to do.
You mean...
Yeah, it's payback time. We've got to destroy Umbrella. Now, let's finish this once and for all.
As the jet speeds into the horizon, the Antarctic base erupts into a towering explosion. And roll credits.
We did it! We killed ants?
Yep.
Yes!
Code Veronica is one of the more narrative-rich games in the Resident Evil series, and it leaves you with a lot to chew on. It leaves us with some questions about who is dead and who is not. Obviously, Chris and Claire are fine. Wesker, we can expect, is also still alive, despite being left in the bowels of that Antarctic explosion. He tends to find a way to survive these types of situations, probably a virus thing.
Nah.
Similarly, we don't have closure on Steve either. Wesker and Steve should be dead. But come on, we know better. Rodrigo, though, he's dead as fuck.
Oh.
as are the Ashford clan, Alexander, Alexia, and Alfred. And for that matter, Veronica. Well, I guess she was dead before we started.
Yeah. Oh, and remember that worm that ate Rodrigo? Also dead.
Ah, yes. So, like, who does Wesker work for now? Does he work for a competitor to Umbrella? It seems as though Umbrella are not the only company interested in the T-virus, and Wesker references his, quote, new employer.
Probably Nestle?
I was gonna say Poncho. Because, Umbrella.
Yeah.
Oh,
no, that's good. That's good.
Yeah.
I was like, what's another water stopper? Gutter?
I know. I was like, windshield. So what do you think of this game?
I will say this: you won't need an umbrella once it clears up outside. You know what I mean?
Oh, God damn it!
Yeah. Actually, I thought
you could also use your windshield whiskers. That's stupid. That one wasn't nearly as good.
Jesus, Chris. Anyway, I thought that I like the story in this one. Well, it does a thing that I don't like so much, where it like basically repeats itself in the second act.
Yeah.
But it did a lot to like set up more Resident Evils. It used a lot from previous Resident Evils. Like it was a good middle. It was a good sequel. I think it's a solid sequel.
Yeah. Maybe they'll redo this one, and someday then Capcom. They seem to be doing that a lot. I don't know. I'd play it again if they redid it. That'd be kind of fun
for sure. Yeah, they've been doing a great job with those two. I mean,
yeah.
Everyone's
so I've heard. I'm afraid of scary games, so I usually play them from a distance with my eyes closed. I don't get very far.
Yeah. Imagine that's tough. It also explains a lot of the weak parts of the scripts in our episodes too.
Yeah. Every sentence ends in a question mark because I'm not sure.
What do you think though? As narratively,
it's all right. I mean, as all Resident Evil games are, the set pieces are absurd. The puzzles are absurd, and so often that will take me out of anything. So no matter how good the sinew and muscle fibers that keep all of those pieces together might be, they're still holding together lumps of diarrhea, essentially. So it's a little hard for me to fall into it. I really have to look at it as the camp it's supposed to be and accept it for that.
For sure.
And so that's what I do. And that's what I have fun with them. I think if they ever tried to make like a serious Resident Evil story game, it would never work. So I'm kind of glad they don't try.
Yeah, there's too many plot holes, but it's fun nonetheless. Well, I guess that's going to wrap us up. So I hope everyone enjoyed another entry into the Resident Evil universe. Of course, there's more of those we can pull from, maybe one of these days. But for now, we're gonna wrap it up. So be sure to subscribe. If you've been listening to these and you're like, these are great, well, subscribe. We do release episodes. I won't ever promise regularly, but they do come out eventually.
Yeah. And if you would, please be kind and review. Rate and review us on Spotify, Apple, wherever it is you're listening to this podcast. We really, really, really appreciate it. I know every podcast in the world asks for your review, but we're the only ones that actually mean it. They're just saying it. So if you would rate and review us, that's really, really helpful. Also, reach out to us. Tell us what you like about the episodes. Tell us what you don't like. Tell us even what games you think would be fun to do this for. You can reach out to the show on Twitter at TalesLesser, TalesLesser. You can reach out directly to Travis at TravPlaysGames. Or if you're the commenting type, you can go over to the Polymedia subreddit, r/Polymedia on Reddit. It's r/Polymedia, but it's for all of the podcasts of the Polymedia network, including this here, Tales of the Lesser Medium. So go over there, write about stuff. Tell us what we got wrong. Tell us what we got super right. If you would, that'd be great.
Yeah, and you can also send us an angry email about any of those things as well, to polykillpodcast@gmail.com, or send us a nice email if you want to say something nice.
That's an idea. I never thought about that.
We'll accept those as well. Also, polymedianetwork.com, you get all those shows. And we want to shout out Brad Sucks for our intro and outro theme. Brad Sucks also working on a new album. Might come out before our next episode. Who knows? Usually, that's how it goes.
Thank you so much for listening.
And the tale has been told.